It was the year 1969 when the research vessel, Sea Dragon, set sail from England to explore the Sargasso Sea, an enigmatic body of water in the North Atlantic. On board were renowned scientists, led by the intrepid Dr. Emma Taylor, with a mission to unravel the mysteries of this eerie sea. The crew had been tasked with investigating strange occurrences within the Sargasso's waters, reports of ships lost at sea, and inexplicable disappearances of sailors who ventured too far into its depths. Little did they know, their own journey would become entangled in the very fabric of the anomaly they sought to unravel. As Dr. Taylor peered out into the endless horizon, a sense of trepidation began to creep over her team. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the creaking of the ship's wooden hull and the occasional squawk of seagulls hovering overhead. It was on their 8th day at sea that they encountered the first sign of trouble. A cryptic message, scrawled on the cabin wall in what appeared to be blood: "We are not alone." Dr. Taylor dismissed it as a prank by one of the crew members, but deep down she knew better. The crew's morale began to unravel with each passing day, their discoveries fueling more questions than answers. It started with minor occurrences, equipment malfunctioning, eerie noises in the dead of night, and unexplained changes in the crew's behavior. But it was the sighting of the first thing that pushed them to the edge. A massive object, unlike anything they had seen before, breached the surface some distance away. It was as if the sea itself had birthed a creature from its depths. The crew watched in horror as this monstrosity slid through the water with an otherworldly ease, sending waves crashing over the ship's hull. Pandemonium erupted on deck. Panic set in as the reality of their situation sunk in. They were not alone, and whatever lurked beneath did not take kindly to their presence. The descent into madness was rapid. Dr. Taylor found herself increasingly isolated from her team, unsure of what truth to believe anymore. They began to suspect each other of sabotaging equipment or even attempting to flee the ship under the cover of night. Paranoia gripped them all as they tried to survive in a world where the laws of nature seemed to bend and warp before their eyes. On the 12th day, a sudden and inexplicable shift occurred. The sea calmed, and an eerie stillness fell over the vessel. It was then that Dr. Taylor noticed something: she was no longer alone on deck. A figure stood at the ship's rail, its presence announced only by the faint sound of its footsteps on the wooden planks. It was one of her crew members, but not as they had ever seen them before. The man's eyes had changed, taking on an unsettling quality that spoke to something deep within the sea itself. In that moment, Dr. Taylor knew that they had stumbled into a place where sanity no longer applied. Whatever lay at the heart of the Sargasso Sea anomaly was not just some anomaly, it was an entity. Dr. Taylor watched in frozen horror as her crew member took their first step off the deck and into the unknown, beckoned by some unseen force that lurked beneath the waves. It was then she understood the true nature of their journey: they were pawns in a cosmic game of which they could hardly comprehend. And so, Dr. Emma Taylor found herself facing an impossible choice: succumb to the madness and join her crew in their descent into the abyss, or try to find a way back to reality before it was too late. As she stood on the deck of the Sea Dragon, looking out into the boundless expanse of the Sargasso, she realized that some secrets were better left unspoken, for they held within them an existential terror from which there could be no return.